What's up, guys? It's crazy. I wasn't actually even gonna do a vlog today. I was gonna just try to do one 4 times a week and then stop on weekends. But last night, I just got fucking wrecked by God and knowledge. Nah, but like I ran across this YouTube video by a man named Ray Dalio. Like Tony Robbins, I believe he had mentioned him when he was talking about his Money Master the Game book, right? And I think Ray Dalio, he is probably like one of the largest hedge funds in the world. I believe he was saying that they actually like turn people down because his hedge fund is so big that you have to have so much money up front to even get their attention, right? But I came across this video, and he was essentially, first of all, I was just like, holy shit, this guy's like a lot of the things that he said, like I resonate with already. So it was literally, I felt like an alien was talking to me. But anyways, he was, first his like philosophy on life is just really cool. Like, and then like he's all about figuring out the causal relationship with everything, how reality works, right? So the premise behind that is like everything has a relationship to it, a cause and effect. For example, I work out, and that's why I am in good shape, right? Or I eat good foods, and that's why I'm healthy, right? Things like that. There's a causal relationship. But then he kind of like extrapolated it into another level by like, he said, by taking on this viewpoint, essentially being a scientist, right? You're able to actually notice like literal patterns in things that maybe are recurring or things that like you keep experiencing, right? So he said literally, when you come across one of those, a learning experience, an event, whatever it is, try to understand the relationship that's at place, because that is why that thing keeps recurring, right? Now, then he like made me smile because he's like, everything works like a machine. And I was like, that's what I'm thinking. Like, what is this? And it was insane because like right before that, before I went to bed, because now I basically try to go to sleep while playing something really cool, something that's like teaching me something or inspiring one or the other, right? And so that's what I was playing. And he right before that, I had done with my workout of the night, and all of a sudden I just got hit with like this massive wave of inspiration and insight. If you're on the One Wave page, you can actually read it. But it was just like this, like long-tailed notes. I just started writing these ideas that came to my mind. I just could not stop, and it's just evolved into this like page-long paragraph. And literally, it stemmed from just like me writing on my to-do list that I wanted to make a video on a particular topic, and then my mind just kept running or coming up with ideas to make the video more, I guess, provide more value in the video and go in depth more. Before I know it, it just went into all these different topics. And one of them was just like how your habits or your state of mind is everything. And then like on top of that, the relationship that you have with life is what matters most more than anything else. Because when you access that virtuous state of mind and you have that relationship, you access like the etheric level of reality. Reality with all realities are built on top of, right? So after that, I'm like trying to go to bed and I play the scene, and this guy felt like he was literally just following along that train of thought. And it's just insane because like that idea of dependent arising in like Buddhism, that Robina coin kind of really well explained. Just, it was literally like it was just happening in front of me, how the moment before that, where I was thinking about those things and writing about those things, led to this moment where now this video is like extrapolating on those things, but now in the business and the economic sense. And I was just like, thank you, God. Like, God is so good. But anyways, so his point on top of that, everything is a machine, right? And his gist is like, if you can figure out how the machine works, you can win, right? Because you'll essentially be wise and be able to make better decisions, right? And so now he went in depth and essentially talked about how everything has a pattern to it. Funny enough, we just don't take the time to sit down and realize. One of them, for example, is Great Depressions and economic market crashes. There is a definitive cause that comes into play that result in that effect, right? So, for example, and he took this idea of deleveraging, and deleveraging is essentially when debt is so much higher than income, right? And debt is rising way more than income. And what's happening is it's getting to a point where interest rates are the lowest that they can be, to where now interest rates are equal to zero. And when interest rates are equal to zero, everything stops, because no one, you decrease interest rate to stimulate the economy, right? And so, because, for example, you're selling a house, you're going to price your house based on the interest rate. When interest rates are low, then you're going to price high. And when they're high, you're going to price low. But when they're equal to zero, nothing moves, right? And so the idea behind deleveraging is to essentially get people to stop spending, right? Now, I actually wrote a bang load of notes from that video. So I think I'm just going to start reading off of it, because it kind of just perfectly puts into things. It just really simplifies everything that I really wanted to talk about, and the main points that I got from the video. But the main premise, and more than anything, it's like every experience I'm getting now more recently is that you have a power as an individual to shape the world around you. Like the whole Gandhi and Buddha mind and all those things just it's like this common theme that I'm just seeing over and over, and it's like mind blowing, because I'm like, there's no way I can be the only one that's having these experiences, right? But the idea is like your choices not only affect your fate, but they literally influence and impact the ecosystem and environment around you. Meaning, when you make good choices, you're not only helping yourself, but you're helping everyone move up. Why? Because I'm like that domino effect that I talk about on the One Wave About Me page. If you go to onewave.org/about me, you'll get a better idea of what I'm talking about. Or if you just go to onewave.org and click on find out more about Stephen Wanji and his vision for One Wave, you'll get it. But essentially, we're all influencing each other. And so when I'm making a good choice, it's not only helping the quality of my life go up, but as people see that how amazing my life is becoming by me making that good choice, they're more likely to gain the inner strength, the inner fortitude to make those same good choices for their lives. And so by them doing that, their life goes up. And then the people around them are able to gain that same inner fortitude and strength to make the good choices. And so everyone goes up. And it's like this upward spiral. And so what I'm saying is your choices literally create upward or downward spiral for not only your life, but the entire ecosystem around you. And so one context in which this is shown is, for example, the economy. And he was talking about how, so I'll just kind of quick groundwork before writing my whole notes. But he was saying that everything, like for example, there's two ways of spending or buying things, right? And buying things essentially Um, you spend money to buy goods, services, or financial assets. And you do this in two ways, either by money, right, or by credit. When you pay things with money, the transaction is complete then and there. But when you buy things on credit, it's essentially a promise to pay at a later time, right? Now, the issue with that is, say, for example, um, actually, I'll stop here and then just go into my notes because I think you'll understand why. So, this is me reading it. Everything is a cycle. Everything has a direct cause and effect. This means that if you can specifically pinpoint the causal relationship for an event, you can actually do something about preventing it from coming to pass into reality. This mindset allows you to see patterns and the reason why you might have recurring experiences. So if you encounter one of those, it is a good idea to understand that it has not only happened before, but also figure out why it's happened. There is a machine. Everything works like a machine. In order to understand the machine and its effect through time, you must understand a certain nature to an event like a debt cycle. A debt cycle is essentially created because of one credit. There's two ways you pay for something, either through money or credit. If you pay by money, transaction complete. But when you pay through credit, you're essentially making a promise to pay later. Now imagine you make $100K a year and you have no debt. Then, because of that, you can go out to the bank and borrow money and they can lend you 10K. So you now have 110K to spend. But you have to understand that everything is a causal relationship. So you're spending 110K if someone's 110K income. So that causes their earnings to go up. And as their earnings go up, they can go out and borrow 10K as well. Thus, you just effectively created and built a self-reinforcing debt cycle. Because you made that choice to pay with debt. And so, how I thought of it, or how I can best put it in words, it's like putting the energy out there. Say maybe that 100K is good, but then there's just this extra that is unneeded that says, hey, there's this energy with debt. And so that energy with debt gets passed around, right? Because energy does not get destroyed. It just moves around. And so now they become influenced by that debt energy as well. That's a great way of thinking about it. So now there is a debt expansion. Also, assets and income go up since people with debt can buy goods, services, and financial assets, though debt can rise faster than income forever. What I mean by debt expansion, meaning, well, because you have more money, now you can spend more. And though people use debt or believe it's a great tool for growth, it's actually not, because they don't think about the paying back part. They just think about how it's going to help them short term get more stuff, but they don't think about how they're going to pay it back. And so that's what usually causes issue. And that's what I mean by debt expansion. It sounds good because the expansion part, but the debt part makes it so much worse. Usually in a downturn, you lower interest rates. This makes it easier to service your debt because and makes items bought on credit cheaper. Since monthly payments go down, interest rates go down, so monthly payments go down. Meaning you can afford more, which stimulates the economy. It also makes asset prices go up. Since you compare your price of, say, a car, for example, with interest rates. And if interest rates are low, your price will go up, or your price will be high. Thus, asset prices go up. And these cycles of interest rates going up and down has always occurred with the economy. So that's what I meant by the debt expansion part. Things on some superficial level go up in value because people are able to spend more. But that's not actually the case when you look at what goes on over the long term. Now, when interest rates equal zero, everything falls apart. You have a lot of debt and debt is rising faster than income. And that's a basic cause-effect dynamic behind a bubble and economic depression and market crash. In 2007, when people were excited about the fact that the stock market went up and how they could borrow more money, they didn't think about the paying back part because human nature had people caught up in whatever was going on at the time. And this begins the deleveraging phase. Deleveraging entails slowing down spending in order to slow down the accrual of debt, thus decreasing someone's earning. So remember, when you spend money, it's someone's income, right? But when you spend less, someone has less income. And as this occurs, assets go down and income goes down, since there's a greater need to cut spending. And this begins a self-reinforcing negative cycle, since there's not enough money in the system, causing the central banks to get stuck. Since I don't spend and you don't earn, since I can't service my debts, and banks can't get paid back on the loans they were expecting to make interest money on. And when they lose money, they become bad banks. So at the same time as there's a contraction on credit, there's a contraction on business valuations, since businesses try to sell assets and decrease their asset value to make up for the lost money or debt and become worth less, or they go down in value. Thus, banks get in trouble, markets go down, and that's the deleveraging, and that's the depression. At first, austerity is the path, since you realize debt is a problem. So austerity is essentially trying to pay everything with money and removing credit altogether. So we go through that, and as that occurs, the lack of spending causes a lack in someone's income. And this results in debt defaults and debt restructuring, where you try to enter a new agreement in which you can pay what you can. But that also causes issue since wealth goes down. If I say you can just pay half your mortgage instead of what was initially agreed for, I have to write that down, causing my overall wealth value to go down as well. And that causes pain as well. And though it's good and it's deflationary in the sense that it's negative for growth, it's bad in that short period of time since everything goes down in value. So in March 1933, which was the bottom of the Great Depression, Roosevelt severed the ties with gold and prints and slips money into the system, thus easing the pressure. Since there was no money in the system, there was no spending allowed. He just, pumped money into the system, essentially trying to get money back into the hands of people so people could spend. And though it's inflationary, because the other deflationary factors were also happening, austerity, so people were going on the path of spending, buying things with strictly money and removing debt. There was debt restructuring and essentially people trying to actually look at what they have and come up with a real practical plan to pay for what they owe, as opposed to making promises that they can't keep. And along with the money printing, so inserting money in the system, you're able to lower, he was able to lower income relative to debt, even though it took time. They call it the lost decade. But by doing that, it produced a right mix between austerity and money printing. The main lesson to learn is not to have debt rise faster than income, because it creates a bubble and it won't last. But the sad part is we're humans. We always react to bullshit. So for example, the generation with depression and war, so people coming back, I think this was me talking about, or I think he was mentioning the Vietnam War, all that generation, so the 30s. They decided, when they came back, they decided to pass on luxuries and save every single penny that they had. And that was a huge fucking sacrifice. Because by doing that, they managed to wipe out debt and completely begin a new cycle where there's more confidence and there's hope for the future and things get better. What is saving for? Saving is worrying. You save because you worry that the future might be worse than the past. And by doing that, by saving, by earning, paying with money and not credit, you're beginning a new cycle. If you think of it as energy, you're doing all the right things. You're not spending money that you don't have, and you're thinking about your future, right? Now, because of that, things start getting better and better, slowly but surely. Of course, nothing is instantaneous, but it gets better. And slowly but surely, wealth starts going up again. And so, slowly but surely, the quality of life increases. But the sad part is human nature is what it is. And so, as you get wealthier and life becomes better, you start taking it for granted. And so you become less worried about saving, right? Who's the one doing well? The person borrowing. And as they're doing that, their neighbor sees that and thinks, oh, that's the thing to do now. And so they begin borrowing as well. And as that happens, another debt cycle is created where debt is rising faster than income. Now, why I mention the power of the individual is because every time you go out and add debt to the economy, because of the power that you have as an individual and human, you're essentially putting out that influence into the world and essentially creating a situation where your neighbor could be like, hey, that looks like the cool thing to do. I'm going to go out and try to borrow money as well. And so they also add debt in the world. And the people around them do the same and the same. And boom, 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 debt cycle, depression. And so that is essentially the goal that I got for every individual. And that's how you do your part in not only fixing the economy, but cultivating an ecosystem where perpetually it can grow for eternity by you making the right decisions. Because we do have an impact as an individual. And the choices that you make heavily not only influence your fate, but the lives of those around you. When you make good choices, it's literally like a light. It sounds so gay and cheesy. I'm sorry when I say that, but it's like people just see that you're doing something good and they're drawn to that, and it inspires them to do the same thing, right? Like, for example, I was thinking about things like, for example, the shit that Gary Vaynerchuk's doing when he talks about building a business on good, right? There's probably plenty of people that would like to do that, that would like to actually build a business on 100% customer satisfaction. Not even customer satisfaction, but care. 100% providing a value, like purely being empathetic about the person that you're helping and putting them first and not even worrying about you. And by you taking care of them, like, life just kind of takes care of you in a funny way. And there's plenty of people that would love to execute, but maybe because they're in an environment or in a family or have had a past where those kind of behaviors, those kind of higher self or execution of their higher self is maybe like laughed at or frowned on. They don't have the strength to execute. But when they see him doing that, it kind of gives them that inner fortitude to be better, to act as that better person that maybe their soul or whoever or whatever it is that's like higher and beyond the five senses has been calling them to do all these years. And so slowly, surely, they start moving in that way. And we can all be that kind of person. We can all be our own Gary Vee or our own hero wherever we are, right? It doesn't take having like a multi-million-dollar business to do that. All it takes is just being that good person and making those good choices and not being afraid to kind of inspire people to do the same, to kind of call on people to do the same, to call out people when they're um, trying to excuse their bullshit as permissible, and just kind of calling on people to live to a higher standard. And I think that's something we can all do. Like, I was just watching I think it's like this series. It's actually, I don't know if it's still going on, but it's like Chicago in the crosshairs, and I think it's the community of Chicago, and I forgot the guy's name from CNN. He wears glasses. I know you don't. I'm sorry, I'm just really bad with names. But he's sitting there, and he's like, it's almost like having a town hall meeting, like some people from law enforcement, the mayor, and some of the constituents and member of the community. And like, this one guy gets up and he has this really motivating speech where he's like, we should all unite behind common cause and show that by showing that Chicago is united, it will give us the strength to kind of help make Chicago a better place. And I was like, yeah, that is awesome. That is really on the right track. But I feel like more than anything, we need more practical steps. We need a practical solution, right? Like, how can you help a community? And I was telling my mom, I feel like it's all about unlocking the individual. Because if you can show someone that his decisions can not only affect his destiny, but those around him, he will literally wake up and know what to do. And all of that starts and begins with education, right? And I was telling her, with this device, you no longer it's not about like needing school, but you can take school in a completely new direction and dimension, because we have to remember some people might not even have access to the resources to enable them to a good school. But just by them seeing like a cool video on like helping them see the long-term effects of good decisions, right? Helping them see how fun it is to actually learn about things that they're passionate about, and how those things can translate into real legit careers that they can make income off of, right? Helping them see that it's not just about making it into those Hollywood type careers like rapper or basketball players, but there's so much more you can do that not only has a positive impact on your community, but also allows you to just be a better influence for everyone around you. Like something as simple as just like putting out your perspective on how you can improve the tech industry that is around you, right? Like things like that, just small things. By them just slowly but surely seeing the value of educating themselves, of like getting the right knowledge, right? Knowledge that forces or shows them, pushes them, strives them to get to see or use their ability to see long term, their ability to see the bigger picture and all the ramifications that go along with that. I feel like that would do tremendous benefits for the community, right? Like, and that's why I talk about unlocking the individual, because if one individual makes it, he creates a positive spiral for himself and kind of shows the way for everyone else to follow, to also make it. And by them even saying that, they can become inspired to create another way and another way and another way. And so before you know it, you have people literally becoming engineers of opportunities for the community, right? So that's how I was saying. That's what I was thinking. Like, and those are practical things, right? Just teaching people how to become avid lovers of positive information, putting out flyers that kind of talks about that. Like, for example, I went to see someone for my medicine today, right? It's like this case manager or whatever for the psychiatric, to see the psychiatrist. And I was telling her about how meditation has helped me, because it's just taught me that, like, despite maybe I might be going through something insane, right? Something that's chaotic, but by instilling and internalizing the concept behind meditation, meaning the concept behind controlling your awareness, controlling your brain, I'm not at the mercy of all these external events, but I just stay even, killed, and tempered. And within all those external and chaotic events, I'm still able to make right decisions. Something as simple as that, like small things. Because the small things are truly what makes the big difference. Sorry, I kind of rambled went on in all these different directions, but anyways, yeah, so that was pretty much what's been really on my mind all day today. And then around 12 or so after seeing that manager lady, I actually went to like daily mass with my mom, and it was really cool because I feel like a lot of people are just paying attention. Like when you write something online and you have like good intent, like really good intentions behind it, it's like people really notice. And I was just really humbled to see that. And I don't know, it was an amazing homily. Then I came home, and then I took a long nap. I've been feeling, I don't know, like I've been really enjoying my day naps. Sometimes I wonder if I'm not wasting time. And then I managed to get out for a bit, and then use my skills goal, and shoot the ball. So I practiced some shooting. Then help my mom take care of some stuff. Then I think I plan on, as always, Rosetta. Gotta read chapter 3, programming book. Get ready, start getting ready for this test coming up on the 20th. Kind of stressed because it's like the first test of the online class. And I just hope to do good. I believe my teacher said he was going to put out exam review questions, so kind of looking forward to that. And also he put out a new homework assignment that's due next week. And you said that you had to like finish reading chapter 3 before. It's apparently a 2-part assignment. So I'm trying to actually. I just noticed it's not that long. Compared to all the other chapters, it's only this long, so it's not too bad. So I'll probably knock out the reading and then work on the assignments and just knock it all out. And I was kind of bummed because I missed the quiz for my intro to engineering class. Come to find out, I managed to catch up to the reading for last week. And I thought, based on what I was seeing, there was like, she broke up week 3 and 2. Like, she wrote week 3 and then week 3. And I didn't realize that she had actually covered it all last class period. So I actually missed the quiz and didn't read the material for this week. So I might actually catch up on that. And then she actually said that we might have a quiz this week again. So there's a lot of reading involved. Life is just pretty interesting. Just gotta stay on top of the execution. Ruthlessly. Anyways, so I kind of look forward to getting back into the gym next week. Should be fun. Probably should. Documenting the journey up there, getting on the bike. That should be fun. Anyways, hope you guys got something out of this. And as always, swag the fuck out.
Super Mario. T.